Today's theme discusses a Sanskrit word, Upaguru, which means the teacher nearby. So let's figure out what that means in your world. Welcome to Restorative Yoga. My name is Sandra. Yes, we are starting this class standing up, but I promise you, we will soon make it to the safety of the earth. I want you to take a slightly wide stance, about hip distance apart, so you feel very rooted. I want you to look down, lift all 10 toes, spread them wide, and then set them back down. You might go one by one, starting from the pinky and work your way in, so that we really feel like we have contact with the earth. And then once you have the toes down and they're slightly gripping your mat, can you lift the arch, the inner arch of both feet? And if that seems really weird or you're not sure how to do it, just imagine energetically that that's occurring. Pull energy up through the legs. Feel yourself growing a little bit taller as you do that. When you get to the hips, I want the hips to move forward just slightly. It's almost as though you're just tucking that pelvic bone underneath you, slightly drawing the stomach in. Now we're lengthening again all the way up through the spine. And then this is important. When you get to the neck and the head, I want you to see if you're aware if the head is more forward of the shoulders. And then if you think so, can you pull it back so that we have the neck in a straight line? Yeah? All right. Take the shoulders up, down and back. Make sure that didn't allow the head to jut forward. So if you need to pull the head back again, go ahead. Palms are going to rotate slightly forward. Close your eyes. Give me a deep inhale through the nose. Loud exhale. Again. Perfect. Keep your eyes closed. As you inhale, the arms all the way up. Bring the palms together. And then exhale them home to your heart. Anjali Mudra, where we're going to pause to set our intention for our practice. All right, when you're ready, right arm's dropping, left arm's reaching up, side bend to the right. So that right hand's just going to gently slide down the leg, using the leg for support. You might kind of work your way into this. You can come up a little bit with the inhale and drop down a little bit with the exhale. Start to deepen the breath. Watch that top shoulder. If you can see that arm out in front of you, back out and pull that shoulder back. All right, when you get to an inhale, come back up. Exhale, release the left arm, close your eyes, and just feel that for a moment. When you're ready, inhale the right arm up. Exhale to the left, play around on this side. Open up the top shoulder. Inhale, come on up. Exhale, the arm down. Close your eyes. So in today's theme, we are, in a sense, reviving a word that you may have heard before. If you've been in my classes, you've heard the word, but I bet you don't remember it because we haven't talked about it in a long time. It's a Sanskrit word. The word is Upaguru. Upaguru. So remember, a guru is someone who leads you from darkness into light, right? That's the translation of guru, darkness into light. And Upaguru is the element of the teaching. So an Upaguru is the teacher. Doesn't have to be a person. And we're going to think about that as we work through our poses on the mat. So our first Upaguru is going to be Vrksasana, tree pose. So go ahead and bring that left foot in underneath you. You might want to, again, lift the toes and regrip the earth slightly. Draw upwards on the left inner arch. Get those hips tucked underneath you as part of your support system. Start to alleviate the weight that's in the right foot. And then, as always, there are variations to tree. So if you want to, right toes to the earth, let the heel rest against your leg. And why this is going to be an Upaguru is because we're testing out where our balance is this morning. And if your ego likes to jump in on the yoga mat and tell you that you should be doing the hardest variation, I'm going to challenge you to stay right here. That's your teacher right now. Okay, so option A. Option B could be below the knee. Option C, of course, above the knee. But again, like I said, if you're one of those people whose ego wants you to take the hardest route, I want you to take the easiest. So once you get into Vrksasana, try to find your balance. If you have a wall nearby and you want to use it, it's hard to talk and balance and look forward all at the same time. That's my Upaguru right now. I want you to try to find your balance. It's okay to put the foot down, breathe. Oh, there, I just needed to stop talking. Deep inhale. Woo. Exhale, put that foot down, walk it out. What I want you to notice when you're in tree is the intricacies of the wobbling. I want you to notice when and if stillness sets in. I want you to notice what the upper body's doing. And from there, we figure out what the learning lesson is. So I think my learning lesson is silence is golden, or more silence is, or less chatter is more. That's what I meant to say. So I'll be quiet on this leg. Shift your weight into the right foot. When you're ready, find tree. Deep inhale. Exhale, bring that foot back down, walk it out. When you're ready, just close your eyes, finding mountain pose. Think about everything that occurred in tree pose. It could be cumulatively from both sides. It could be, well, I noticed this on this side or this on the other. And then we're staying right here until you come up with the lesson. Now, this is not necessarily the easy part, right? So I already told you what my takeaway was. Wobbling on the first side because I was talking a lot, I was distracted. When I was quiet on the other side, I immediately found my stillness and I was happy. It's much happier there. What is your lesson? I'll wait for you. Okay. So why is it important that we stop to question all of the Upagurus and find the lesson. Well, it's not much of a teaching if you can't get to the lesson part, right? Then it's just something that occurred. So every little thing we're doing in our practice today, we're looking for the Upaguru. So I'm just going to turn sideways. I want you to go ahead and widen out your stance again. And then let's go ahead, bend into the knees. Take the hands on the thighs, fingers facing in. We're going to find cat-cow right here. So inhale, lift the heart, lift the chin, slight arch to the low back. Exhale, round it out, pull the chin in. You got it, keep going. Continue with this. I want you to notice that even though we're doing cat, we're doing cow, there's actually 3 steps to what we're doing. There's a transition as well, right? I want you to notice which part you like best this morning. Do you like cow? Do you like the transition? Do you like cat? Okay, of the remaining 2, I want you to notice which one you like least. This might be hard. You might like all of them, but just try. Okay, so you should have 2 answers in your head, right? Okay, let's go ahead and slowly come back up. Keep those answers. We're going to think about them, but I'd rather do my thinking while we're seated. So let's finish off doing some stuff while we're standing, shall we? Go ahead and bring the feet closer together. Inhale, take the arms up. Bring the palms together, release them to the heart. Fingertips turn to the earth and pull you down into forward fold. All right, so do some moving here. The hamstrings might feel really tight, so I definitely want you to think about bending into the knees if you want. That movement with the breath is going to help loosen up all the muscles. Remember, don't let ego on the mat. Don't let ego say, well, no, you have to have the legs straight and you have to get deeper. No, you don't. And if that is what your thoughts are saying, then I really want you to bend into the knees, make it exaggerated, and you're staying right here. So let's find a transition, create a vinyasa between Uttanasana, where we are right now, and Ardha Uttanasana, monkey. So inhale, take your way to monkey. Your fingers might be on the earth, they might be on a block, they might be on your shins. Your exhale is coming back down into your fold. Keep going. Again, you're going to notice that there are 3 positions or 3 stages here. Your fold, your transition, and then monkey. Which one do you like the best this morning? Okay, next time you're back in your fold, bend into the knees, slowly round your way back up. Take your time coming all the way back up into mountain. Give yourself a moment, especially if the blood is rushing from your head. Okay, inhale, take the arms up. Whatever you have room for. You can go out to your side, you can go forward. So inhale, arms up. Exhale, hands through the heart center all the way down into your fold. Inhale, monkey. Exhale, fold. Round your way back up. And when you do that rounding, will you bend into the knees? Inhale, arms up. Exhale to the heart. All the way into your fold. Inhale, monkey. Exhale, release. Then the knees slowly roll up. So we're just doing like a half Surya Namaskar. Inhale the arms. Exhale down through the heart. All the way into your fold. Inhale, monkey. Exhale, fold, bend into the knees. Round your way up. Now give me 2 more. I'm going to stop talking because I want you to go at your own pace. Maybe you can slow that down a little bit and take it all in. When you're finished, and don't hurry to get there, you'll end up standing in mountain. Deep breath in through the nose. Big exhale through the mouth. And then let's gently come on down to the mat. Let's have a block nearby. And we're coming all the way down. Hug the knees into the heart, Uppanasana. Close your eyes. Strong inhale. As you exhale, really feel the low back settle down against the floor. And then go ahead and set the feet down. Straighten out the left leg. Take the right leg into supine tree. So you have that block. If that right leg doesn't comfortably come down to the floor, the block is going underneath to hold that leg up. Your hands can rest on your abdomen to feel the breath. And just start to let go. All right. Now, in your mind's eye, I want you to go back to our standing cat-cow, and I asked you which felt the best today, which part were you enjoying the most, cat, cow, or the transition? What did you come up with? So I'm going to ask you to start thinking outside of the box, okay? So I particularly connected this morning with the transition. So for me, the transition being my Upaguru is a reminder to keep moving forward. So I start to think in my head then, where have I been stuck? Where does life feel stagnant? Where do I need to remember to push through? So how can you get to that lesson from what you chose? And I'll help you out a little bit, right? We can talk through this. So if you chose cat pose, we're rounding out the back, right? Head drops down. I want you to think about cat pose as a protection of the heart chakra. Whenever I'm in cat, I'm thinking about, I'm drawing within, I'm protecting myself, I'm nurturing. So I would ask yourself if you need to do some nurturing and if you've been ignoring that part of your world. Okay, if it was cow pose that you liked best, to me, cow pose is, when the heart lifts up like that and moves forward, I think of hope. So is there a place in your life that you need hope, or you need to integrate hope, or that also stumbling over my words because I'm thinking ahead of myself. When I am in cow, I'm also thinking about the head lifting. It's almost as though I can envision the sun shining down on my face. So I also want you to think about that kind of nurturing quality. It could be as simple as you need to get out. You haven't been out of your house and you need to get out in the sun. Only you are going to know what the lesson is for you. I'm just trying to help you kind of get outside of, I don't know. I have no idea what this pose means. Okay, now, actually, before I have you think more, let's switch our supine tree to the other leg, if you don't mind. So go ahead and straighten out the right leg, move your block to the left, and take that left leg into supine tree. Okay, now think about which part of that transition did you not like so much? And the things you don't like are also Upagurus. And that doesn't mean you have to be happy about it, but it does mean you need to do some deciphering and figure out what the lesson is there as well. So for me, the part that I didn't really resonate with this morning was cat. I did not feel like I wanted to draw in within myself. I felt like, no, I need to move forward and I need to lift and cow and be inspired by hope. So I didn't really appreciate this morning the drawing in. So that's how I want you to take this. Figure it out for you. I'll be quiet for a moment while you dive into that, because we're all going to have different answers. And then lastly, when we were doing our transition between our fold into monkey and then back down, I asked you which part of that did you like the best? The fold, the transition, or monkey? So again, for me, and there are no coincidences, I felt better about the transition and this idea of finally feeling like I can move. So pick out what was best for you, and I need you to worm your way to that learning lesson. All right, go ahead and straighten out that left leg. Deep breath in. Huge exhale. We're going to go ahead and plant the feet on the mat. So knees bent. Go ahead and lift the hips a little bit so you can get that upward tilt of the pelvic bone. Set the low back down on the mat. I feel like I want to give you an option here, but there is a huge caveat to what I'm going to present. Would probably rather most of you go with option A. I will throw in option B because, I don't mind changing things up, but I need you to practice ahimsa, make sure you're safe. And if you have any neck or probably shoulder issues, I don't think I would take option B. So option A is simply going to be inhale, lift up into bridge, exhale it down. Remember, this is not a contest to see how many times we can lift and bridge. In fact, if I were to make it a contest, I would suggest it's how few times you can lift, because then I know you're slowing the breath down. Okay. If you would rather work on something a little bit different, you can take your hands, I want to be on my hair here, your hands above the shoulders, fingers facing in, elbows up towards the sky. And if you'd rather, you're going to push the feet into the ground, lift the hips, and you can just rock a little bit onto the head. So this would kind of be like a wheel prep. So that's up to you, but I do want you to notice there's a lot of weight on my head when I lift up, and that is why if you have issues with the neck, I don't want you doing this. So pick the one that's right for you, slow everything down. Keep going. One more. When you come back down, you're done. Hug the knees in, rock it out. All right, switch the rocking from side to side to forward and back. So get your hands in front of the knees. Don't come all the way up, rock it out. Have some fun here. And then when you have momentum, all the way up. All right, right leg forward, left foot tucked in. Slide that right hip back. In fact, let's reach that left hand forward, right hand back. Fingertips making contact with the earth. Push the ground away, sit up really tall, big inhale. Exhale, use the fingertips to pull you around into that twist, to look over the right shoulder. When you get to an exhale, let's slowly release the twist. Remember, if the hamstring's tight, you can always add a bend to that right leg. You can put your blanket underneath the knee. Not quite as comfortable, but you could put your block underneath the knee. And then let's sit up really tall and come on forward into our fold. And then close your eyes. Let me share a quote with you. So Elizabeth Goodman wrote, "Sometimes we meet a stranger just for a moment, but the stranger in that moment exhibits such grace that the stranger is one of our teachers for life. It is by being open and spacious that we get the opportunity to recognize those who have just one perfect teaching for us. When we're closed off, we can miss both the teacher and the teaching." So an Upaguru can be anything. Anything and everything has a lesson to teach you. So it can be a person, it could be an object, it could be a moment, an experience, an emotion. The Upaguru could be fleeting, like that quote referred to, something that comes into your world for a very brief passing, or an Upaguru could stick around for quite a while. And I do believe that once you have the lesson down, that's when that teacher moves on. So that is why we can say that every pose we're doing is an Upaguru. There's something to learn from it, and it might reference something you like about the pose, but it oftentimes is what you don't like about the pose, and why don't you like it, and what's it trying to teach you? So for instance, if you just hate being in a fold, and I am chatting on and on and on, and you're thinking, are you kidding me? We've been in here, this position for kind of a while, don't like it, not comfortable. I'm guessing this pose is trying to teach you patience, but it could also be teaching you, if you're not good at tuning out distraction, perhaps my chatter is a distraction, and you are not even focusing on what that fold feels like. So there are a lot of options, but the teachings are different for each of us. All right, go ahead and make your way up. Let's switch legs and find out what the other side has to say to us. When you're ready, come on down. So think about maybe somebody who's crossed your path in the last week that for some reason you remember. My two favorite fleeting Upaguru teachers were both people who knocked at my door and that I had a conversation with. Didn't know either one of them. So think about those opportunities, and why is that moment stuck in your head? Because it's perhaps you haven't stopped to really think about any sort of lesson attached to it. You were thinking, well, I don't know, something about that person just stuck with me, but let's get deeper. Actually, let's get deeper in that pose and in that thought. What's the learning lesson? All right, come on back up. Plant the feet. Feet are wide, width of the mat. Knees bend, hands in front of the knees. Inhale, sit up tall. So seated cat-cow, round it out. Keep going. Notice if whatever you chose was your favorite. If it still is, has it changed? So for me, what I'm noticing, and I guess the reason I keep telling you what I'm feeling is because maybe the examples are helping you discern what this Upaguru thing is all about. Seated, I kind of like sitting up tall, so seated cow, better than the transition that I liked the first time. And what popped into my head was, as I rise up out of that rounded spine, I'm picturing a lotus that, comes up from the mud and the darkness of the water, and then it peeks its head up towards the sun. And I just feel like, self-disclosure, that my life has been in such a stuck place that this upward rising feels like what my heart needs today. So that's what I need you to find on your mat. Come on, this isn't just about cat-cow. Breathe it in. Big exhales, let go of what you want to. Embrace the movement. The poses are fleeting, right? Because we're going to quickly move into something else. So what have you got? What's the lesson? All right, one more. We'll end up sitting up tall and then just letting go of that breath. All right, let's set up something restorative. I am still thinking of fold though, so if that causes you distress, Kind of yay, but also I need you to figure out why. So let's get the bolster. I'm going to put that bolster in front of me across my mat. I'm going to get my legs over. A super loose Baddha Konasana. So my feet are together on the other side of that bolster. Knees are wide. We're going to need something to fold over on. And I have a few ideas and you can make up your own. One might be to take your blanket and sit up really tall, pull your stomach in. Get that blanket tucked in under the ribs as much as you can. That's going to feel great when you roll forward and you have that support underneath the ribs. I could add on here, I could take a block and balance it on my heels. You could come up higher, of course, and balance that block on your bolster. If you don't like the blanket there, you could use the blanket on the ankles and start building up a little tower if you need it. So do you figure that out? Where are you going to be content? And let's find our happy place. Break it down. What do you like? What do you not like? So again, as I mentioned when we started off with standing cat-cow, I'm not really super happy here. It has nothing to do with the pose. I'm not resonating this morning with drawing in towards myself. Now I got to start thinking about that. Well, okay, what does that mean? Does that mean there's something deep within this morning that I don't want to address? And so I prefer to be distracted by a heart opener? That's possible. Is it, I just feel like I've been so closed off with myself that I'm not happy to be there today? Do you see where I'm going? Start asking yourself a plethora of questions. Get to the one that makes you uncomfortable. That's probably the lesson. Oh, and I do want you to notice, I know your eyes are closed and you're in a fold, but I did come back down into this pose because if we don't sit with the discomfort, we ignore the teaching. I want you to see all teachers as it's kind of a gift. Might not feel that way. Some people in your life certainly might not feel that way. Upagurus don't have to be all wrapped up in, pretty paper with sparkly bows. They could be wrapped up in a used brown paper bag and, I don't know, some twine around them. Not all teachings are going to make you excited and happy. So the things that are going on in our world that cause us fear, anxiety, frustration, sadness, anger, these are all upagurus. Dive in and figure out what the lesson is. you might want to give yourself a mantra. If you're settling with some discomfort, such as, I am, Hamsa, I let go, I succumb, and then give me a deep breath. Let go of that exhale and slowly make your way back up. All right, let's set the props aside for a moment. We're going to flip over into table. Shift your weight into that right knee and make some circles with that left hip, because we're going to head into pigeon, and I'm going to give you a variation if you don't want to do pigeon, because pigeon is such a great pose for teaching lessons, don't you think? If you already groaned and went, oh God, not pigeon, yay, a new Upaguru. All right, switch directions if you haven't already. All right, bring that knee back down, don't set it on the floor. Straighten that leg out behind you, level out the hips. Draw the stomach upwards. Bend that left knee as though the left foot's holding up the ceiling. Keeping the breath, make sure you didn't just cave into something that looks more like cow pose. This is strong, you're a table, remember? You're just missing a leg. All right, hold the stomach in, hold it there. Lift the left leg an inch, don't go any higher. If that pinches the lower back, you're immediately dropping that leg back down. Good job. Okay, set the left knee down, switch the weight over, open up that right hip by making circles, switch directions whenever you want. You can even pause to notice, do you like the knee coming forward and around better, or do you like it going backwards? So I definitely like it going forward better. As I'm going backwards, I've been having sacrum issues again, so I can feel it pinching. That's root chakra. And if you take that a step further, I do not want to go backwards on my path. Your path is your root chakra, right? Where you're headed. So break everything down. And if you aren't sure, shoot me an email and I'll help you figure it out. All right, go ahead and bring that knee back towards the mat. Don't set it down. Draw the stomach in, straighten that right leg out, level out the hips. You're strong here. Hold that, bend the right knee. That right foot's flexed, it's holding up the ceiling. Stomach in again, get some lift here. And then lift the right thigh just an inch. No pain. Or you bring the leg back down, right? Inhale. Exhale. Release that knee. Let's take this to Balasana for a moment. Child's pose. Just stay there, find the breath. What just occurred to me was, as we push back into Balasana, my energy this morning hasn't quite settled into a restorative mode. I feel a little bit amped up. And what that means for you is, if you feel like I'm pushing you a little bit, that's the Upaguru. Why don't you want to be pushed? Why do you feel like you don't want to move this morning? Start questioning everything. It's fascinating. All right. Go ahead, walk your way back up. So we're going to find pigeon, if that's okay with your body. Since I'm having sacrum issues, I'm going to be in I can't talk today. Reclining swan. That must Has something to do with the throat chakra. All right, come back up into table. So left leg first. If you're coming into pigeon, get the left knee behind the left wrist. Foot comes across somewhere. Tuck the back toes, lift that knee, and start to slide the right leg back. Hips have to stay level here. Don't tip into the left hip. If you're not happy with this pose today, join me in taking that left knee forward, but keep the shin running parallel. So the foot is directly behind the knee, and that's where I'm going to settle down. I'm starting to run into stuff behind me. So you decide, and if you're in pigeon, you can stay seated. You could come down into a fold. You could add a twist. You could thread the needle. So find the place that makes you happy. Close your eyes. So the reason I say pigeon is a good pose to test your what you're being challenged with is because it's not an easy pose, right? So is it a lesson in dealing with things that are difficult? Is it a lesson in dealing with things that cause not pain, don't be in pain on your yoga mat, but discomfort, dis-ease? Is it a lesson in holding still? If you can't keep the hips level, is it a lesson in balance? And in what part of your life do we need that balance? Right? So that would take the concept from the mat, off the mat into your world. Where do you need balance? Is it a lesson in sitting quietly with yourself? Is it a lesson in it's okay, assuming you're not in pain, to open up the hips? Right? Hips are second chakra, sacral. Start asking questions. Every pose is an Upaguru. Your mat is an Upaguru. What I'm asking you to do, I am in this instance your Upaguru. Your resistance is your Upaguru. Does that make sense? Deepen the breath. The breath is always an Upaguru. We know when our breath gets very short or we feel like we can't breathe, there's something going on. Something has triggered us. Most likely falls under anxiety or fear category. All right. When you're ready, we're going to slowly come out of whichever pose we're in and end up seated somehow. So if you're in pigeon, you might tip into the left hip and get the other leg around. If you're in reclining swan, I'm mixing all my words. What you could do is just simply pull the other leg in. It doesn't matter to me how you end up sitting. But let's just take a pause. Okay, we're going to play a little game here before we get to the other side. I want you to look around your space and let your eyes land on any object. So I'm sure your space is like mine. There are a lot of things we could choose. My attention is being drawn to my drum over here. So you don't have to go grab your object, but I want you to look at your object, and we're going to figure out how the object is an Upaguru. Okay? So close your eyes. Let's start thinking. So the examples that kind of pop into my head, the drum was not one of my examples, so I do need to think out loud, but it would be such things like, if you are looking at a clock, it could be a lesson in recognizing how special each moment is. It could be a lesson in being in the present moment. And then you could take that lesson forward, thinking about, well, every time your eyes fall upon the time on your phone, the time on your computer, another clock, use that as a reminder. This is a precious moment in my life. What am I doing right this moment? Am I present? Am I stuck in the past? Am I worrying about the future? I'm trying to think of really easy ones first. A mirror, reflection. What's reflecting back at me? What do I need to reflect upon? So go ahead and start thinking. I'm going to start thinking about the drum, and we'll share notes. Okay. If you're not quite done thinking, that's okay. But let's make our way into pigeon or swan on the other side. Get the body situated, and then we can kind of continue with our train of thought. All right, so this is where I went with the drum. Before I sat down to start this class, I had this tickle in my throat, so I ran upstairs to get a glass of water, and then I thought, maybe I should switch today's theme to throat chakra, which is all about communication. The drum wants to be heard, right? It wants to be heard. And so I also think about how the drum beat is very earthy. And so it's connected to the root chakra. Root chakra is about your path. Where are you headed in life? So I need to start thinking about the communication between what I'm saying, what I'm not saying, and where my path is headed. So now I'm thinking about this mantra, I have a right to be heard. So what am I holding back? That's where I want you to take your object. Go deep. There's a garbage can in front of me, just behind the camera. What am I hanging on to that I should be throwing away? That could be literal, it could be physical stuff, it could be baggage, right? One of my dogs is lying to my right. Well, to me, that represents loyalty, nurturing, patience. It's a greyhound. They sleep like 20 hours a day. So am I getting enough sleep? What's the quality of sleep? Break it all down. You got this. So Christopher Page wrote, the Upaguru means that whatever is happening in my life at the moment can be my teacher if I'm able to open to the lessons my circumstances have to offer. If you are wondering When will my Upaguru appear? I'm going to suggest to you that it's probably already present. You just haven't seen it that way. I also want you to think about this. I already told you that an Upaguru might not necessarily be something pleasant, or it might not be a pleasant person, pleasant experience. If we head into the bad things, bad, I'm putting that in air quotes, with like tunnel vision, then we have not opened ourselves up to seeing the broad spectrum of what that lesson can be. In fact, tunnel vision, I feel like I'm totally closed off. I'm just going to try to get through this. If I take those blinders off, all of a sudden, I see everything. All right, deep breath in. Let it go. Come on out of that pose slowly. Just kind of coming to whatever position you want, because we're heading into Shavasana. So now we're just kind of looking around for props and making ourselves comfortable. Turn my earthly drum out of the way. When you get situated and you close your eyes, take your focus to your breath. What is the breath teaching you right now? And as you start to slow the breath down, do you see that it is a lesson in relaxation? You know, especially use the breath as a gift. If you have a hard time relaxing and letting go, you might have to work a little harder to slow the breath down. That's okay. You deserve some peace and quiet. You deserve inaction. We don't always have to be doing something. We don't have to be go, go, go. You deserve this amazing feeling of the body just sinking down against the floor. Muscles letting go. Tension drifting off your shoulders onto the floor as well. Breathing in peace. Exhaling into heaviness and relaxation. Breathing in stillness. Exhaling the need to move. Breathing in happiness. Exhaling the need to question that. Breathing in and letting go. So very simply put, the word Upaguru, translated from Sanskrit, means the teacher nearby. Give me a deep breath in. Let it go. Invite some movement back into the body. And keeping your eyes closed, if as little movement as possible, go ahead and roll to a side. Keep your eyes closed as you gently push your way back up into a seated pose. And still keeping your eyes closed, drop the right ear to the right shoulder. Inhale the head to center. Left ear to the left shoulder. Inhale the head to center. Draw the shoulders up. Take them back and down. Perfect. Deep inhale through the nose. Super loud exhale. Inhale both arms up. Bring the palms together and release them home to your heart in prayer pose. The light in me bows to the light in you. And when I'm in that place in me, and you're in that place in you, then we become one. Namaste.